Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's live. Today is Sunday, October 13th. We're going to go over a few market news first on Forex Factory, and then we're going to jump on the charts. Last week we did have CPI, so people were able to get in some nice trades. I was able to actually get in some good trades last week, but then I got greedy, overtraded a bit, and then I ended up giving all the money I won back to the market. So without further ado, let's go over the Forex Factory news. So as you can see right over here on my screen, we have for Sunday, which is the Asian session right now currently, because I am in Eastern Standard Time, we have no news. Tomorrow, Monday, I have no red folder news all day. We do have a couple of FOMC members speaking, starting off with the first one right before market open, 9 a.m., 30 minutes before New York session open. Then we also have in the afternoon for the New York session. Moving on to Tuesday. Tuesday, we have red folder news for GBP during the London session. Then I have CAD red folder news 1 hour right before the New York session open. Then in the afternoon, right before Asian session, right after New York session, right during the Aussie session, which no one really trades, we have red folder news for NZD, the Kiwi, New Zealand. Wednesday, we have red folder news for GBP during the London session. And then we have red folder news for AUD during the Asian session. Thursday, we have red folder news for Euro, 1 hour and 15 minutes right before the New York session open. And then 1 hour before the New York session open, we have US red folder news, followed by another Euro, 15 minutes right after that. A little bit late for Euro, but yeah, it is what it is. Friday, we have GBP, red folder news during the London session. Now, let's jump on the chart. So right over here, you see I have MNQ. Let's go into the weekly time frame so you can see a little bit better, a little bit more clear. We are right in this area right over here. So let me make this as clean as possible for you guys. I'm going to remove a couple of things over here. So these lines that I have drawn out, all-time high, let me change that. That is the new real all-time high. Right. So what do you see on my charts? Right now, we are seeing that this fair value gap right over here, which is a daily and a weekly fair value gap, we are respecting it, right? So we wicked into this area here prior to this week's candle that's forming right now inside the FEG. This previous week's candle itself closed at the 50% mark, like right above the 50% mark, but nothing has broken through the FEG, meaning that we're still extremely bullish. So we should be looking into a pullback from here. So this candle that is forming right now, we're forming an actual bearish candle for this coming week. That's what it looks like it's going to do. And yeah, so right now we're rejecting off it. So it looks pretty good. So let me see. Let me draw some fib. Where are we at? So this is the top. This is the bottom. That's where it should go on a weekly time frame. And now we're rejecting off this FVG, this fair value gap over here. But yeah, we should be looking for shorts actually, right? So that's what I'm seeing right here in the weekly. It's respecting the daily and the weekly fair value gap, which is bearish. So I'm going to be looking for bearish positions in this coming week. But let's go down into the daily. You're going to see in the daily, it's a little bit more clear. As you can see, it's respecting that daily and weekly fair value gap overlap. Has not broken through and closed above it. So we are still respecting it. And if you look left far enough over here, these two candles, these are bullish fair value gaps. And those two bullish fair value gaps overlap with this bearish fair value gap. So this bearish fair value gap actually invalidated both these. So we are looking for short positions, right? For bearish positions right now. So the way it's playing out looks really good. Let's go down into, let me just remove these levels here. I'm going to remove these levels here because I was using these when I was day trading. That too. This is the buy side, sell side liquidity right here. This is our buy side liquidity right over here. Let me mark that out for you guys so it's nice and clear for you. Color that blue. This is the buy side liquidity, and then this is going to be our sell side liquidity. We're going to look at these two different levels on the daily time frame. So we're going to see like how this plays out. Let's go down into the 4 hour. What do we see in the 4 hour? So the 4 hour time frame, you're going to see right over here, we are inside a bullish fair value gap, and it's been bouncing off and respecting that it has not broken through yet. Right? So respected here once, twice, 3 times. But as you can see over here as well, we have equal highs right over here. Then our structure high is right over here as well, which overlaps with those equal highs. So let's make a note of that as well. Let's color that green. That's going to be our equal highs, but just so we can keep an eye on it, right? So that's where our equal highs are at. So in reality, since we tapped into the equal high, you can think about it kind of like an M pattern, right? So a double top. So the equal highs right there, we should be seeking the next sell side liquidity, which should be this range right over here. The closest is going to be at 21.97, and then our true daily sell side liquidity is going to be down here at the 19824. So yeah, make a note of that, guys. We have a inverted fair value gap over here that became bullish, so we should be targeting this sell side and then this sell side. But if you want to be nice and conservative, you can also just target over here at this 50% mark at the 20,075 mark, 2075. So bias, I'm looking for a bearish position on a lower time frame, and then I'm aiming to target that sell side liquidity, and then we'll just keep going to the key levels, which is going to be this next fair value gap, 19550, and then another one over here, which is an overlap of these fair value gaps, 19029.75. But then we also have a sell side liquidity over here, 18565.25. Now I don't see it pulling down that much over the next few days, but who knows, right? We'll try to be as conservative as possible. We're aiming for this sell side liquidity here over the next few days, and it looks super doable. So make sure to have those alerts set for you guys for MNQ. We're gonna move on to gold now. Gold on the daily, right? So the weekly, extremely bullish. On the daily, very bullish as well. What are we looking for? We're looking for entry. Let me turn on my market mind. Rally gap right over here, never came back to tap me in. Extremely bullish. Rally gap over here, that did come back, but I did not catch that. Boom, tapped in there, and then continuation to the upside. Should be targeting this all-time high now. Still have this fair value gap here. We should have it come back to tap into that. Now, super important, this level here, how I marked out this actual rectangle, it's an overlap of two different fair value gaps, right? So we have a bearish fair value gap that has been disrespected by a bullish fair value gap. So now it is an IFVG. So it'll probably use this area here, it usually does, as an area of liquidity. Come back, tap into it, and continuation to the upside. So somehow it's going to come back into here and then continue up, seek the all-time high, and then it'll either go one or two ways. It'll continue up, or it'll reject off it completely. So we'll keep an eye on that, guys. So for now, our point of interest is going to be this one over here. It's 2654.9, but you can round it off to 2655. And then if we go down into a lower time frame, like the 4 hour, see this over here. So this overlaps with this fair value gap. So we should be looking between 2651 all the way to 2655. This little area here is where we should see some kind of reaction, and then it should break through this fair value gap too. So tap into here, break that fair value gap, and then seek the next equal highs, which should be right here. This buy side liquidity, 2690. Since this one's super close, it'll probably seek that one too. I'm not exactly sure if it's actually going to hit the all-time high, but just be expecting that it's going to be seeking all these sell side liquidities, all these buy side liquidities after tapping into this fair value gap here. It's going to collect some liquidity, then just take off, rock it up, take out some buy side liquidities, and then it'll probably pull back one more time or just continue extremely bullish like it's been right now. So 2708 looks like it's the new all-time high, which is extremely high, right? We weren't expecting, gold to break the 2000 threshold like so violently and then go into like 2700. Like it's really, really high right now when it comes to gold. That's insane. Let's move on to silver. Let's check out silver, how that looks. On the weekly, bullish. We are seeing like a slight pullback here. Did tap into our fibs like perfectly too. Let's go into the daily. See if we have any openings for us in the daily. We have this fair value gap over here that became inverted because price action closed right above it. We have this one candle here. It's a bullish candle, closed right above the fair value gap. So created this inverted fair value gap for us. Now it looks like this candle here on the daily, it's feeding off that. In theory, if it closes right above this, it's respecting that inverted fair value gap perfectly, and then continuation to the upside. Then we're going to hit these equal highs over here, which is our buy side liquidity. I'm going to be conservative and keep it here, but in theory it should hit at the top of this wick, but I want to go for the equal highs right there. So target is 33.035. We're currently at 31.16. We're expecting this to pull back and continue to the upside, continuation bullish. Going down into the 4 hour, what do we see? That bearish fair value gap inverted by this bullish fair value gap, and then continuation. We have a wick over here which respected it completely, and now we're expecting this to pull back as well. This candle that's forming right now on the 1 hour, on the 4 hour. We're going down into the 1 hour to check it out a little bit further, and yeah, we just gotta be very careful. We're gonna have to wait for that candle closure. It needs to close exactly as a wick or right above that fair value gap, that dual fair value gap, inverted fair value gap, and then continuation to the upside. So I'll feel comfortable once this 4 hour candle closes to see exactly where it's at. And then I'll probably get into that as a long position because I'm looking for it to sweep that buy side liquidity right up there. And if you want to be even more conservative, like this area right here, as you can see, multiple touches on wicks and candle bodies overlap. And you can probably set that as a very, very conservative target profit. So that's going to be your 32.56, super conservative, but I want to target the equal highs, those wicks over here. So I could probably take profit over here at 32.56, 75% of the position. And then full position size at 33.02. Now check this out, right? So if I were to get into long here, let's say my stop loss is the bottom of this candle body here. These structures, target over here at 32.65 or 32.56. It's a 2.9 RR. And then if I were to continue to the buy side create up here, that's a 3.81 RR. So just wait for it, guys. Don't try to be super impatient. Wait for that 4-hour candle closure to finish. It'll close in about 4 hours right now. So looks like 2 a.m. Wait for it to close. 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it should just continue to the upside. In theory, right? Keep an eye on that. Euro. How do we see Euro? Let's check out the weekly. Let me take a couple of these things out. And it's crazy because if you look on the weekly, it looks like it consolidates. So it's going to be a lot of liquidity hunts. Let's go down into the daily. Double top right there and pattern. This became inverted. Okay. So we're on the daily. I see this automatically bullish fair value gap right there. Then if I draw my fibs, the highest point is right there. Wow. So the 0.89 almost lines up exactly over that halfway point of the fair value gap. And we are right now in the optimal trade entry. So I'm looking at this candle here. This is a really nice zone. Guys, mark out this zone. This halfway point is at 1.09295. We're looking for a bullish position. Right now, it's the retracement. It looks kind of like a very textbook retracement as well. So keep an eye on that. Go down into the 4-hour. What we want to see in the 4-hour is this didn't sweep that. It swept this liquidity here, though. Boom, boom. If you look left, I saw liquidity over here. Swept it. And now rejecting off it. We got to see how this candle closes, too. So we'll wait for that candle closure. We should be seeing this reject off of this fair value gap. Continuation upside. And then seeking over the next few days this level over here, which is like an equal high, this market structure. That's 1.12240, and you can start taking profits on the way up. First off, at this fair value gap, you probably take off 25% stop to break even, and then target here for your next take profit, and then your final take profit is going to be up here. That's what I would do, guys. So set your alerts on those. This area here, about 50%, excuse me, is 1.10325. This area here, about the 50%, you're looking at about 1.11505. And then the full take profit should do the wicks, but I'll do the bodies. 1.12240. Moving on to GBP on the weekly, bullish, making new all-time highs here. Excuse me, not all-time highs, higher highs. Right? We're gonna higher high here, and then a lower high, then a higher high, then a higher. Let's go on to the daily. Daily looks really nice. Looks like it's doing like really good clean pullbacks. 1.2912. Set an alert for that area right there. That's a 0.705. It also overlaps with the fair value gap as well. So it should tap into there for some liquidity and the continuation to the upside. Oh, this breaker block too. So that's exactly where it bounced off. That's crazy. It's crazy when you start seeing those things. But yeah, guys, this one we're looking for. Nice entry for us will be right here at 1.2899. It's overlapping with the fair value gap. And it overlaps with this optimal trade entry, the fibs, for the retracement. On the 4-hour, what do we see? We see this sell side liquidity has been taken out. So it should, in theory, continue upwards. But it might just dump for a little bit, pick up a little bit of extra liquidity there, do a liquidity sweep, right? And come back up. A continuation to the upside. We'll keep an eye on that. So set your alerts right now, guys, on the 0.62 and the 0.705 line, which are respectively 1.2963, and then this one is 1.2899. And then JPY. Crazy. I was expecting this to go up, but it ended up just dumping completely. It was so violent too. Yeah, that's crazy. Such a beautiful fair value gap, beautiful retracement, but I just completely disrespected it and dumped. That's fine. What do we see here to the left? On the left, we do see a fair value gap here on the daily, and it's very close to it. So we'll wait for it to come back to this level here, and then go right above it on a lower time frame, probably like an hour or 15 minute. So as long as it comes in and then sweeps this area here, comes right back up, and goes through like a fair value gap, and it creates an IFVG, then I'll feel confident in the direction of the trend flip, something like that. Continue. Okay, but for now, this fair value gap is going to be our point of interest. Set your alerts 0.006723. You're looking at that area right there for a point of entry for JPY. 4 hour, yeah, 4 hours not too clear, so we're just waiting for it to come in this area here, give us a nice clean entry, and that's it. So thank you so much everyone for joining me this Sunday. I'll see you here, same time, same place next Sunday. Goodbye for now.